Welcome to part 2 of Pedro the Polar Bear tutorial. We're going to start off by making a magic ring. So with the white yarn, you're going to wrap it around your top 3 fingers. You're going to create an X on one side of your hand and 2 parallel lines on the other side of your hand. And then I like to grab the yarn with my pinky finger. Now you're going to take your crochet hook, go under the first loop, over top the second loop, and bring the second loop under the first. Give your hook a twist, and then you're going to grab that yarn and pull it through the loop. If you didn't quite catch this, I'll play it again for you in slow motion. Now that you have your magic ring, you're ready to place your single crochets inside of it. Just make sure you are crocheting over top both the tail and the magic ring together. So you're just going to insert your hook and place 6 single crochets into the magic ring. And if you still need help, I do have a separate magic ring tutorial linked down below. Now that you have your 6 single crochets, you can take the tail and pull on it shut. Make sure that you don't pull it so hard that the magic ring kind of folds in on itself. And now we can carry on to round 2. Round 2, we are starting off as we did at the very beginning of the Pedro tutorial. So you're just going to insert your hook right in that very first stitch, and you're going to make a single crochet. Now we can mark this stitch with a stitch marker, and for this round we are just making a single crochet in each one of these stitches. This is the snout, and this is the last row of this project, so all we're doing here is single crocheting in each stitch around for a total of 6 stitches. So now we can take out our stitch marker. We're going to fasten off the snout by making a slip stitch. So insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook here, just like so. And then leave a tail about 10 inches long for sewing, and pull the yarn through the loop on your hook. Make sure you pull that magic ring really tight so that it doesn't come apart. Now we're going to take our yarn needle and we're going to weave in the end of the magic ring of the snout. So you're just going to take the tail and thread it onto your yarn needle. And now we are just going to weave in our needle in and out of different stitches in the snout. And that is going to secure it and make sure that there's not a gaping hole in the middle of our snout when it's on our polar bear. So once you've gone about 5 times, you can trim it off and then flip it back inside out. And that's it for the snout. We're gonna make the ears next, and we're starting off with another magic ring. Again, if you need help with this, you can either replay the beginning of the video, or I have a separate tutorial for the magic ring link down below. Once you've done your magic ring, we are going to place 6 single crochets into this magic ring. And then you can pull the ring shut. Now we are going to start off by making an increase in this very first stitch here. So insert your hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet, and then pop in your second single crochet in that same exact stitch to make an increase. Now we can pause and mark the very first stitch that we did, or otherwise that's the second stitch away from the loop. Now we're going to continue increasing in each one of these stitches around. So again, that's the first single crochet and the second one in the same stitch. And by the end of this round, you should have 12 single crochets. So just keep increasing until you get back to the stitch marker. So now you should have 12 single crochets in your circle. You can remove your stitch marker and place your first single crochet of round 3. And then mark that stitch. Next, we are going to place another single crochet in the next stitch, and then we are decreasing in the 3rd and 4th stitch of the round. So make a decrease, and then single crochet, single crochet, decrease. And single crochet, decrease. This is going to leave us with 9 stitches, and this is the last round of the ear. So you can remove your stitch marker, and we're going to fasten off with a slip stitch again. So insert your hook and yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. And then you're going to want to leave a tail about 12 inches or so for sewing. And then you can pull the loop on your hook, and we are finished with the ear. And don't forget to weave in the end of your ear from the magic ring so that it doesn't come undone as well. You're going to make 2 ears. Moving on to the scarf, you're going to grab the red yarn, and we're going to start off by making a slip knot. So if you've never made a slip knot before, this is how I like to do it. If you didn't catch that, I'll show you a second way of how you can make one. So lay your yarn like this on your table. You're going to take the shorter tail and cross it over the long one, and then flip that loop over on itself. And then you're just going to grab that middle piece of yarn and pull tight. The slip knot does take some practice, so just keep repeating that section of the video until you get it, and then you can tighten it onto your crochet hook like this. You're going to grab the working piece of yarn and wrap it a couple times around your finger, and we are going to make a chain. To make a chain, all you do is yarn over and pull through. That's 1 chain. Yarn over, pull through. That's 2. Yarn over, pull through. That's 3. So you can see here we've got 1, 2, 3 V's or 3 stitches. This loop here is not a chain stitch. Each chain stitch has 3 parts to it. So this side, and also a back loop on the other side. So that's the 3rd piece. All you need to worry about for this tutorial is this very top loop here. That is the only loop where you are going to be inserting your crochet hook in. So insert your hook into the working loop, and then we are starting from the second chain from the hook, so that middle one there. Insert your hook into the top loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, and pull through. This is just a single crochet. And then for the second single crochet, we're going into the top loop only, just like so. So now we've done 2 stitches or 2 single crochets. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. So we are not counting that little chain as a stitch. We are just counting these 2 stitches. So insert your hook and make a single crochet, then make a second single crochet, chain 1, and turn your work. Again, 2 single crochets in each one of these stitches. That's 1 and 2, chain 1, turn your work. Single crochet, chain 1, and turn your work. We are just repeating this over and over and over again until we get the desired length of the scarf. For my tension and my polar bear, I made my scarf about 16 inches long, but as you're making your scarf, just kind of tie it around your polar bear and see how long it has to be. So just keep working away at the scarf until your scarf measures somewhere around 12 inches, and then check to see if it fits on your polar bear, and then I will show you how to finish it off. This is what your scarf should look like. My scarf measures 16 inches. Honestly, I could have gone a little bit shorter, but just make sure that you're tying it on your polar bear and that it fits him. To finish off the scarf, just cut the tail and then thread it through like so. And if you want to add some tassels, I'll show you how to do that, but the tassels are optional. So if you want to add some tassels, just go ahead and measure 3 pieces of red yarn about 8 inches long or so. And then you're going to fold this in half. And you're going to thread it through the very 2 end stitches on your scarf. So insert your hook and fold the yarn in half and just pull it through with your yarn hook. This can definitely be a little tricky. Once they're all poking through the other side, you are just going to take the ends and tie them through that little loop that we just made. Like so, and then you can tighten it all down. And then I like to trim mine to be about 2 centimeters long or so. And then you would repeat that on the other side of the scarf as well. Now it's time to assemble your polar bear. You should have 2 ears and 1 snout. I'm going to start off by sewing the snout on, so thread it onto your yarn needle. And then you're going to place the snout in between the eyes. And I like to place mine about here. If you've never sewed anything with crochet before, it's really easy. All you do is insert your yarn needle into a stitch on the body and then through a stitch on the part that you're sewing. So this is just a basic whip stitch. It's easier to see it than it is for me to explain it in words. And you're just going to go around the snout slowly, stitching each one of these stitches onto the body and making sure you're really holding it in place so that it doesn't move around and your snout ends up wonky. It should look something like this. And then you're going to weave in your snout end, so I just like to poke it through a different part of the body, and then I'm just going to weave my yarn needle in and out different stitches to make sure that the snout doesn't come off. Next, we're going to repeat this process with an ear. So your ear should be folded in half like this. And you're just going to pop it on the top of the head. I like to do mine about 2 rows down from the top. Make sure the ear isn't too far away from the eyes. And again, we're doing the exact same thing. Poke your yarn needle into a stitch on the body and then into a stitch on the ear. Just make sure you sew every single stitch of the ear onto the body. And then I'm just going to weave in my tail. And you can trim it off and then repeat the exact same thing on the other side of the head with the other ear. Now your bear is looking something like this. We can embroider on a nose. So thread on the black yarn onto your yarn needle, and all you do is insert your needle into the very top of the snout, and you're just going to embroider on a black line. I like to go over mine twice. And then I'm going to take my yarn needle and pop it out the bottom of the snout right in the middle of the nose. You can kind of fix the nose and make it look how you want it. So it should look something like this, and then I'm going to take my yarn needle and pop it under the nose right in the center. So just right about there. And I'm going to have my needle come up into the head like so, and I'm just gonna pull on it so that it leaves a black line right in the middle of the nose. Next, you can trim that off, and to secure this, I'm just going to double knot my ends and then poke it back into the head with my scissors. Now I'm going to take the last two remaining ends and I'm going to have them poke out the head somewhere else. And I'm just going to make sure that they come out of the exact same hole so that I can repeat the process. Just going to double knot them and then shove them inside with my scissors. The last step is grabbing your finished scarf and wrapping it around your polar bear's body. This can be super simple, so all you have to do is figure out how you want it to sit, and you can either stitch it like this where it's like just kind of crossed over and just place a stitch with the red yarn like so with your yarn needle to keep it in place, or you can actually just tie it in a knot. It's really up to you however you want the scarf to lay on your polar bear. And there you have it. There's your Pedro the Polar Bear tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this one.